in this video we'll be talking about the Sony Walkman MP3 players in terms of what they offer and what the new models are like. So let's get started. Hey everyone, this is Barry from Music Tech Info. Hope you're doing well today. So we all know the Sony Walkmans in terms of cassette players back in the 80s and 90s. But Sony decided to update the Walkman with this, which is an MP3 player. Now, the build quality of these is absolutely brilliant, quite weighty. And this particular model is the NW A45. Now, I owned the N35 previously, and I was really happy with it. The N45 seemed even better, and there is a N55 model as well. Then future models turned into Android. So the A55, I believe, was the latest kind of Sony iOS that they developed themselves. When they hit Android operating systems after the N55, things took a bit of a downhill because the lagging, the amount of crashes, because it was Android based, it needed updates, that kind of thing. Whereas if you were interested in the more simplistic Sony versions, then these are still brilliant today. Now, the only unfortunate thing about the A35 and the A45 is the fact that to charge it, you have to use one of these, which is Sony's own proprietary cable. So it's USB, which is great, but you have to plug it in under here, and it can be a bit of a pain because you always have to remember to take this lead wherever you go. And it's a bit unfortunate. That's probably the biggest disadvantage. Now, a lot of people say, why have an MP3 player? And there's a lot of benefits. One of the main benefits is that you've got the controls, physical buttons to use. So while it's in your pocket, you're able to skip tracks, play, pause, go to previous track, change the volume. There's a hold button as well, so you can't accidentally press anything. And it does have a micro SD card in it as well. Now, one of the great things as well about these earlier Sony Walkman models, such as this one, the 45, is the battery life was brilliant on these. And the other benefit of having an MP3 player, in my mind, is that you own the music that's on the device and the SD card. For the likes of Spotify, you don't own that music. You just pay for a subscription to access that music. And it can be also very pleasurable to have a separate device from your mobile phone that is purposely for playing of music. And that's one of the great things about this. It is really responsive in terms of how it works. It rarely crashes in my experience, and it is also a DAC. So if you want like the highest quality sounding thing from like your laptop or whatever, you can use this as a DAC device to actually do that. Now, there's lots of functionality with this, so I'm going to go through the functionality with you now. So some of the features that you actually get regarding this device, this obviously is the NW A45. It's part of the NW A40 series, and they have high resolution audio and improved Bluetooth streaming with LDAC. They've got DSD audio formats such as high quality PCM conversion. They've got various modes to give it more of a rich natural sound via the kind of functionality called DSEEHX. It's optimized for high resolution audio, S-Master HX digital amplifier, which reduces distortion and noise, letting you enjoy all the subtleties in your music. High quality lead-free solder, which provides more efficient electronic connection between components, including the S-Master HX amp, which provides pure audio playback with enhanced vocal clarity every time you press play. Now, this has 16 gigabytes of storage built in, which is great. Remember, you got access to the micro SD card as well. It's the Sony original operating system, and it's a 3.1 touch color display with a touch screen, obviously, and it's 98 grams. So even though it's quite weighty, it's not too heavy. Now, the functionalities that you've got on here things like all songs is great. Now what I found, I have so many songs, and there's no kind of search functionality with this, which is a big disadvantage. So you do, if you want a particular song, you're gonna have to go into all songs and try and do it that way. Okay, this is your back button down here. You got playlists that you can have, but for memory, I'm trying to remember now if you could actually add a song to a playlist from this device, or whether you had to put it into a computer. Yeah, you can. Maybe the A35 you had to hook it up to a computer, but the 45 you definitely can just add it to a playlist. You've got song information, delete, you can move songs, you can add it to a bookmark as well as a playlist. So that's quite useful. It tells you the type of file type that it is, as well as the duration, the track name, and you can see that's me, Cyber Monday, my own music. The main screen is really good. You can change the order of these. You've got the release year, search by a particular artist, only show the high-res files, recent transfer that you've recently transferred from, say, the computer, folder. There's something called Sense Me channels as well. So if you want a particular kind of mood, like energetic, lounge, dance music, it kind of automatically recognizes what tracks relate to those, so you can use it. On the top left, you've got a FM radio player. I think this one's a language study, and you're able to use it as a dictaphone as well, and there's a DAC, which is brilliant. Now there might be more options on here as well, but this is my main device that I actually use. Now in the settings, you can change the brightness, the playback settings, the output settings as well. So you've got your normal shuffle, repeat, sleep timers as well, what you want to sort by if you want to actually display the lyrics. You've got output settings, like a volume limiter for your DSD output, filtering and gain. Device settings, you've got things like beep settings, auto power off. You've got clear plus audio, where you can apply advanced digital signal processing in a single step operation. It's got Bluetooth as well. And in terms of Bluetooth information, it's version 4.2. So as of now, it's not, the latest is kind of 5.3, I think, or 5.5. So that is quite old. However, this worked with my AirPods Pro 2s, but the N35A doesn't. So just bear that in mind. You've got FM radio settings, recording settings, DAC settings, and unit information. This is a firmware 1.1, 2017, the NW A40 series. You can see you've got about 16 gig of storage. I've got an SD card in here, which is about 40 gigabytes. Total amount of songs on this device is over 25,000. So you can see I've got a lot of tracks. And I just think it's absolutely such a great interface to use. There can be a lag sometimes, like the more songs you have, if you're on shuffle mode, it may take just a couple of milliseconds longer. But one of the downsides that I find with this device is every time you boot it up, it's got to kind of go into the sync mode, where it kind of puts all of the songs into file storage in terms of organizing the tracks. It has to do that every time you shut it down. But obviously if you put it on standby and then put it back, it's going to remember where you are. I just think it's a brilliant little device. It's been my main MP3 player that I've used. And as I say, the only downside is this one in terms of the actual charging lead. And to give you an idea of the battery life on this, the N45 and N55, I think the N45 is about 40 hours. And it might even be up to 50, but don't quote me on that. But the N55 is definitely up to 45 hours on a single charge. So you're looking at almost two full days there, which is absolutely brilliant. And don't forget, you've got the SD slot as well. Now, these were quite expensive because they are Sony products. But if you're interested in getting this kind of A series before the Android versions, then you can get them quite reasonably on places like CEX in the UK. There are certain websites where you can get them from, maybe eBay as well. But as I say, pretty much on Amazon now, you're looking at the Android versions unless somebody offers it. But if you like Sony, and you want the quality, you want an MP3 player, then I would recommend one of these. Anyway, hope that helps. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.